Hey everybody, it's Josh Rutledge, your co-host for FearScape Paranormal Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to support us more, please head over to our website, fearscapepodcast.com. There you can click on store and browse some really awesome t-shirts and maybe pick a couple up, or even go to our Patreon page and see how you can support us monthly. We love bringing you awesome content just as much as you like listening to it. Enjoy the show.
The following program is presented for entertainment purposes. WCHQ does not necessarily endorse the ideas presented.
FearScape is a program that explores the legends and lore around many creepy and scary things. Information is researched and presented in an entertainment fashion and is presented based off of what we found. Legends have a way of changing over time, so beware.
FearScape.
All right, this is FearScape. This is the Clawed Beast of the Ohio with Brad episode. And y'all ready to go?
Yep.
It's easy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another frightening edition of FearScape here on 100.9 FM WCHQ, as well as the Destination Nation Network. Woo, man, I am Stefan, your host for the evening, joined as always by my, I'm going to go with luxurious.
I was going to say illustrious.
Illustrious, yeah, similar but different. Co-host, Mr. Josh Rutledge. How you doing today?
Hey, everybody, doing great.
And as we promised last week, that's right, we've got coming back to be our guest for the evening and give us a little bit about what the heck has been going on with him. Mr. Bradzilla McQueary is back in the building. What up, B?
Oh, hey, fellas. Great being back in the seats. The El Cito, as I like to call it nowadays.
That's Spanish, I think, for seat.
El Cito.
Yeah, for seat, I think.
Despacito.
Yep.
I don't want to get you guys flagged for copyright.
Yep. No, that's okay. But we are covering today the Clawed Beast of the Ohio. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But we are so glad you're here, Brad. But first, let's get into just a little bit of spooky news.
Now, see, the tune for spooky news I enjoy. We'll see.
Yeah, because it's...
Gets me excited for news.
Yeah, it is news.
It's your typical bulletin headline.
I like it. It gets me bulleted.
If I had like music skills, I would totally add like, I don't know, like creepy noises and different things, like, and make it like an old like out of tune piano to do the exact same.
Yeah. See, I'm totally bulletined and headlined right now. I'm ready.
You are. Well, let's get into the spooky news that Daddy has right here. So this comes from NBC News, reliable. It comes from, I don't know what this is. It's called Mock. It's like a special section. I don't know if it's like science-based or what.
Sounds like they're mocking people.
Maybe, but it's MACH. That's why I say that.
Okay.
But the headline reads, Space aliens are breeding with humans. University instructor says. Scientists say otherwise. So it says there's an outlandish claim that has a secret breeding program creating alien-human hybrids who can survive climate change, which sounds very ancient aliens.
Yeah, very much so.
For sure. But this says, maybe you've never seen any space aliens, but recent polls indicate that up to 6% of Americans claim to have been abducted by them. The experience doesn't sound pleasant. The extraterrestrials are often said to take their captives to their saucers, lay them out on a table, and extract sperm from men and impregnate the women. And if you're familiar with UFO lore, you know that there are a couple of common explanations for these breeding experiments. One is that the aliens are in a reproductive bind on their homeworld. They can no longer successfully procreate and so have come to Earth to use humans as incubators to spawn alien offspring. Yum. The other one is that aliens are producing hybrid beings that will somehow help them take over the planet, and I would add in the ancient alien theory that we are created as slaves.
Yep.
I would add that.
So the whole theory about the alien species unable to reproduce anymore, isn't that kind of the whole thing behind like Kryptonians?
You shut up. We do not talk down about Superman in any way, shape, or form, but yes, you are correct.
You mean the man who only has powers because the sun's a different color?
Well, and when you think about it that way,
it was
the
really
sun
nice
is white.
that Brad came by for just a moment.
The sun is white when you're in space, so really is it different color?
Weird.
What
Maybe
color
it's
would
the
what
atmosphere.
color would a red sun be in outer space?
Probably
Like off-white?
It would just be white.
Mother of pearl?
it's blue.
Taupe.
It's interesting that you mentioned this whole alien breeding thing because the experiences in the 60s were believed
I
to
thought
be
you were going to
around-
say your own experiences, but I
No.
got impregnated. It was
No,
crazy.
I ain't letting the aliens near that hole.
What was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he had to carry the baby? I can't think.
Junior?
Yeah.
Junior? That was a good movie. Wasn't Aliens, though. It was Danny DeVito.
But yeah, in the 60s and 70s, that was the main thought behind why, like Barney Hill and stuff like that, is they were being used for reproduction.
Right.
Maybe we're at a point now where the alien species needs to repopulate, so it's time to herd the cattle, so to speak.
Maybe. Well, continuing on, scientists, of course, are dubious of such claims. After all, there's never been any good evidence that abductions are even taking place. Apparently, no one ever seems to bring a cell phone to take photos or pocket an artifact from these saucers. Or if you're smart, you would take those away. I know I would. But an instructor at the University of Oxford in England believes the abductions are real. Young Hae Chi, who teaches Korean at the university, also claims to know what the aliens have in mind. In lectures given at the university, he says that they are creating alien-human hybrids as a hedge against climate change.
Interesting.
So to support his unorthodox theory, Chi notes that for several decades, the number of reported alien abductions has risen. He bases this statement on the work of David Jacobs, a retired Temple University historian who has published several books of UFOlogy and who runs the International Center for Abduction Research. Had not heard of that. Going to add that to the list.
Yep.
Jacobs has interviewed more than 1,000 people who claim to have been abducted using hypnotic regression that apparently allows them to recall their unearthly encounter with aliens. Chi takes the claims at face value and links the growing number of abductees cataloged by Jacobs to the increase in atmospheric greenhouse gases. And he doesn't imply a cause and effect. The abduction experiment is not responsible for global warming. Rather, it's a reaction to it. That they are producing hybrids that can better withstand the rigors of a hotter planet.
So a couple things come to mind. The movie Arrival with Charlie Sheen. That's like an alien race trying to basically cause global warming. Mm-hmm. Interesting that movie was in the 90s, I think 96 or 95. So obviously global warming was still a topic then, like it is, now 30 years later. And then secondly, the thought around the human alien hybrids. What if they are just trying to superimpose themselves on us to take over?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, somebody knows.
Well, yeah, I mean, somebody knows.
The
but
Shadow,
I mean,
I think, probably knows.
The Shadow. Well, I mean, we've talked about that before. The theory of gods being, and then even that missing link. Maybe the missing link is the extraterrestrial, right? That and they chose Homo sapien over Neanderthal,
right?
Correct. So who knows? Who knows? But that's what I had for spooky news this week. So be spooked. Go ahead and check your 23andMe and see if you're an alien hybrid and let us know.
And don't forget to wear your tinfoil hats.
Yeah, tinfoil hats. Yeah, mine did not come back as alien. It came back as Swedish. That was really weird because I thought I was mostly German and I'm mostly English and Swedish, so awkward. Anyways, yeah, that's spooky news. And so man, I got some creepy catch up. Brad's here. He's gonna be creeping and crutching. And you got anything this week?
Creeping and crutching.
I have a small creepy catch up.
That's what she said. And so yeah, let's move straight into creepy catch up with my favorite song of all time.
Creepy catch-up. Creepy catch-up. Creepy catch-up. Creepy catch-up. Y'all, it's creepy.
So here's the issue with your song.
Yeah,
okay?
no issue.
Here's the
There's
issue.
no issue. You can suck it, Brad.
The way the song is built, and you're going in, it's like you're at you're drunk at a bar, and you walk into the bathroom, and there's a guy at the urinal next to you, and you walk up to the urinal, and you get there, member in hand, and you look over at the guy, and you're like, hey, it's creepy, it's creepy. It's like you're trying to convince him it's creepy without it being.
Have you seen the bar that you're in?
Well, number
Yeah,
one,
it's Bud's Tavern.
why are you talking to other people in the urinal?
Because I
You're
am
that
no
guy.
longer
You're
an
that guy.
You're
extrovert.
that guy.
I left here as an introvert. I came back as an extrovert.
It doesn't matter.
Hey,
You-
buddy.
You
I
don't
share
talk
stalls
to people
now.
in urinals.
I
and
share
you're
stalls.
telling them that
Spread your
they're-
legs. I'll pee between. Will this make it to air?
I'm thinking of rewriting the song to Bradley Ketchup, Bradley Ketchup, Bradley Ketchup. Y'all, it's Bradley.
But I like a little bit of ranch with my ketchup, so I just add the ranch.
Oh,
Oh,
that
you're
sounds
that guy. That's
gross.
my sister, dude. She does that.
Don't hate.
It's like the special sauce or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
let's get into some
baby.
mystic mustard, some
Yeah.
creepy ketchup.
Myopic mayonnaise.
We'll let you go first, and she said yours was tiny. Mine's a small one, but still crazy. It happened today, actually.
So the other night, probably like 3-4 nights ago, I was laying on the couch real late at night watching TV. Lights were all off and everything.
What were you watching?
I honestly don't remember.
Lies. This is all lies. He has a
Yep.
photographic memory. He's a liar.
That's what happened. He was watching Ghost Adventures.
It was actually Iron Man 3. But anyways, so laying there like 11 o'clock at night, and out of the corner of my eye, and I even kind of glanced over at it, I saw what I at the time thought was my cat walking from the hallway into the living room. But when I got up to go to bed, my cat was laying on the couch next to me.
From the hallways to the wall.
So yeah, so there's not my cat walking from the hallway to the.
I mean,
to the-
so let's say there's a good sprint that could happen. About how long would it take to get there? From the moment you saw your cat to the moment you looked and saw your cat next to you.
I mean, it was like seconds.
So there's no way the cat could make a solid sprint there.
No, and then like get comfortable laying next to
Okay,
me. What,
that's
no,
that's
not,
what that's
not
all,
possible.
That's all I needed. That's
No.
all I needed.
Mathematically
See? Okay.
impossible.
Right. Mathematically impossible. So my creepy catch up was today I was taking a dump at work, which I'm prone to do because they've got a longer toilet than I do. And
Captain's log.
Yep, captain's log. Anyways, I'm sitting in there, and the last person saw that the toilet paper roll was probably about to be done. This is a small company, so this one's not industrial by any means. It's literally just your standard roll. And, there's like two, and they were still left in the plastic bag, and they said we have like a little dresser in there that we keep paper towels, toilet paper, cleaning stuff.
Bathroom essentials.
Essentials, yeah. So
Okay.
there's like two dressers, and so it's sitting on top of that dresser, and it's pushed a good way back. I mean, it's not all the way back against the wall by any means, but it's sitting there, and it's pretty solid. And I'm solidly pooping, and all of a sudden, that thing falls off of there, okay? Like, hits the ground, and I scream, of course,
Yeah.
as I'm prone to do,
Right.
while I'm taking a dump. So everybody thinks that I've slit my butthole wide open.
So this is not making it to air.
No, it's making it to air. I didn't say any bad words. I'm just being honest. So it just went, and it hit, and there was no way. I mean, it would have had to have been pulled. There was none of it was even.
What's on the
hanging.
other side of the room?
What's on the other side? The door.
Like there's just a door on the other side.
Yeah.
Of the,
So
okay.
it's your standard, like the bathroom here at WCHQ. It's all kind of a long
Right.
bathroom. Yeah.
But I mean, so what's on the other side of wherever the toilet paper was sitting?
oh, me.
Okay.
And then, so if you come widthwise, it's me. If you go longwise, it's the door.
Okay.
So, and it's a good ways.
I mean,
from
there's
the
nothing
door.
like, somebody's not knocking boots in the copier room and they knocked it off.
No. So on the other side
Yeah.
of the wall is just a hallway.
Okay.
So, and actually, there's a big stack of boxes there that we've got because we got some stuff in. So you wouldn't even be able to like knock on the wall. So, but I mean, you would have to knock hard. Like I said, this was dead center of the top
Yeah.
of the. It had to have been pushed off.
Yeah.
Like I went over it in my brain like 100 times. Like, and I couldn't.
Maybe whoever was in there was trying to get to the matches.
Maybe, I don't know, but it creeped me out. I mean, the building we live in is a very, very old building in Portland, and it used to be a school, it used to be a church, it used to be all kinds of different things. So I mean, this thing's probably 100 years old. I mean, anything's possible in there. And I've definitely had some instances. I think you remember, Brad, the time where I got touched on my shoulder and nobody was there. I looked over to the right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, different things like that happens a lot at my work, and so I don't know.
Anyway, and we've talked about it a little bit before. I've had some stuff that happened at my building, which is not that old, but you have to wonder what was there before it was my building.
Right. So what was on the
right,
space?
Right.
Yeah, I'll save that because I was watching the Haunted Boy documentary, and they talk about this thing happening on the 5th floor while this building had been demolished, and that stuff still happens on the 5th floor.
Nice.
Like, even though there's nothing there.
They still hear footsteps.
Yeah, and that
and
if you were able to, like, climb up and get up in there, it's crazy to think it still exists in the open air space, like, which I think is really interesting. All right, Brad, I know you got a lot of creepy catch-up, and I want to hear it because we haven't heard from you in a while, and I have purposefully asked you not to tell me some things because I wanted to hear it when we were able to get you to come on here. So what the heck has happened to you recently, creepy-wise?
So the week after I had told you that I was leaving FearScape and then I made the announcement, I had my first night hag after a while.
Oh, cool.
Where I was like, me and my wife had switched around our bedroom and kind of just pretty much flipped the dresser and the bed, just flipped that around.
Or feng shui.
Yeah. I think it brought around a bit of a negative energy because before that, it was always a little bit haunted feeling.
Right.
But this one, like, put it up to 30.
Wow.
So that was the first night where I was like laying in bed on my side, and it was on my side, which throws out some of those theories about it's always on your back. But I heard I opened my eyes, and there's like this little gremlin thing running towards me. So I like freak out and like wake up real quick, and the wife's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." So this one was very vivid. This happened about 2 weeks ago. I got up about 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom. And when you get out of the bed makes like a small creaking sound because the box spring's not that great. So I get out of the bed's making a creaking sound. I go pee, and as I'm peeing, I hear the bed make a bunch of creaking sounds. And I'm like, okay, Caitlin must be getting up next to come pee or whatever.
Right.
So I like turn on the hallway light because I think she's about to walk through there. She's still sound asleep in the bed, and then I see next to her this shadow, full shape of a human, run from her side. I hear the footsteps on the ground. Go across, and then it like darts towards my window and is gone.
Wow.
So I'm just kind of sitting there looking around, cat's staring off towards the window. I'm like, all right, she saw it, great. Charizard doesn't care, he's out, and then,
He's Charizard.
and then I'm like standing there. Caitlin wakes up and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I just had a weird dream. And I'm like, okay. And like the next morning, I told her what happened, and she's like, "Yeah, that's really weird. I kept feeling like somebody was like standing over me or something."
Creepy.
So did you move the bed and stuff back around?
No, all I did was the Palo Santo I got from my aunt and uncle. I lit that and kind of did that around the bedroom, and then what was it? Oh, I changed out our dream catcher. I got a new dream catcher.
Yeah,
and
that's
helped.
That's something
amazingly.
I've heard before, is to cleanse your dream catchers every couple of months, because if it's catching bad dreams, it's got to be released.
So I always wondered about that, if it was like a filter that gets clogged.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. I've also been told that, standard stuff is like that they're always cursed for white people, but I've never.
And
had
then
any
also
issues.
when I got here early today, we were sitting in there talking in the
living
room, and I just see a shadow man go walking by, and I'm like, "Yep, I forgot this
It was
building
like,
was haunted."
Hey, Brad, where you been? I missed ya.
Welcome back to the party, guy. I'm like, "Oh, I missed this party."
All right, any more creepy catch up from you?
That's all I can remember at the moment.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move straight into our topic. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, baby, you know it.
We're going to move into the topic, but we are going to spend a little bit of time towards the end, Brad, so please remind me if I don't, to let everybody know what you're up to.
Oh, yeah,
recently.
I got projects.
Yeah, so we want to make sure to talk about that. But Yeshua, let's get into this clawed beast of the Ohio. This is not my ex, so who is this?
Okay, I'm not real sure which one you're talking about, so
Could be any of them.
just be careful.
Sorry, Lizzie.
So this is the clawed beast of the Ohio. Not the beast's name is not Claude. It is.
Oh, his name is
I thought
Mr. Claude
like,
Beast.
like a German beast.
Yeah.
Claude. This is Claude.
Hi, this is Claude. Yeah.
Jean-Claude.
Sorry. Yep. Anyways, so yeah, we've got. There's not a lot of detail on the clawed beast of the Ohio that I was able to rustle up. However, there are some similarities with this story and some other stories that happened around the same time, and so we're gonna talk about some of that stuff too.
Interesting.
So,
Okay, so that is something already we've been kind of chit-chatting about, is like this time period.
Yeah. So one of the things, and this came up in our spooky news conversation as well, but it seems like the number of reported accounts of things happening has significantly dropped off with the advent of smartphones and fitness trackers.
Yeah.
So if a fitness tracker tracks where you are at all times and you're in an alien ship, then you could go back and
right. You should be able to see that.
See that. So I wonder if as technology has progressed, that's why a lot of these things have kind of fallen off as far as being recorded.
It's either that or we've talked about this before as well, that it's not big news anymore like it was in the 60s and 70s because it was still pretty new and it was pretty crazy. Now we've had a million sci-fi movies.
It's almost like it's cliche now.
Everybody, like we check MUFON and there's 400 new sightings every day. So on one hand, it seems like sightings are more prevalent. They're just not mainstream media anymore.
Yep. So let me throw out a real quick small theory. What if the increase in movies and TV shows around the topic was part of a ploy to desensitize people to the idea?
Yeah, the same idea goes around with the like with school shootings and mass shootings and stuff. That the reason more violent video games were released to the public and like more violent movies and things of that nature was to desensitize us to the violence. And so I totally agree with that theory that the reason we're seeing more, we're not really seeing more, but we're just less affected by it, is we become so desensitized to the idea of aliens that we're just like, yeah, that probably happens. Like with us with ghosts. We see a ghost now, and it's like, yeah, that probably happens.
Well, and like I said, it doesn't hit mainstream media. Let's say you come in and you're like, oh my God, I had a Bigfoot sighting, and you go to WHAS, they're going to be like, yeah, we've already had those.
Yeah.
It's not, who hasn't seen a Sasquatch?
Well, you think about, back, and we'll get back on topic here in just a second. Back in the 50s when you had Project Blue Book and everything being stood up, those guys were doing it on a case-by-case basis and a small community basis, right? So then you get actors and media companies, all that kind of stuff involved, and you start at the mass level, then it widens the scope and range of your project without really admitting that there is a project.
Yeah.
And that is why we are desensitized to LSD.
Right. and there's also, there's less small town news.
Yeah.
And so big town news is covering more stuff, but still in the same limited amount of space, and it's just, I don't know.
So let's get into Mr. Jean-Claude.
Mr. Jean-Claude.
I do like that theory,
Biast.
though. I do like that.
Beast of the Ohio. All right, so here's the way the story goes. It was a hot summer afternoon near Evansville, Indiana, on August 21st, 1955, when Naomi Johnson and her best friend, Louise Lamble,
Ooh, alliteration. I love it.
along with Naomi's children, Daryl, Darwin, and Sandra.
These are all fake names.
I don't know. If they gave the account 55,
it's Evansville, so
yeah.
Daryl is totally a real name.
I wonder if he introduced, I am Daryl, this is my brother Darwin, and this is my,
Yeah.
We ran out of ideas. This is Sandra.
So they went to the Ohio River for a cooling swim.
Can't do that anymore. Yeah, you can't do that anymore, man. The Ohio is gross.
Algae eat you.
Well, what's really interesting, and this is something that I wanted to know about, so Kristen, my wife, blames me all the time that if I don't know about it, I just look it up and then I know about it. So she tells me all the time that I know it all. Anyways, so the Ohio River, at its deepest point, is right up here close to Louisville. That's like 115 feet or something like that. But the average depth of the Ohio River is only about 24 feet.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you saw my pictures when I went down off that cut, and the water was blue and gorgeous, and I couldn't believe it, but it was on the other side of the falls.
Well, and also when they built dams around the Ohio to make it deeper in places.
Yeah.
That's why there's pictures of like it frozen over and people walking across it during droughts and stuff, because it didn't used to be that deep. So at this point in time, I don't know when the dams were built, but at this point in time, it may not have been, as nasty as it is today.
No, it's not at all. That's why I said you just can't do that anymore. But
yeah. So anyway, so they're out there for a swim. Now the children remained on the riverbank, and Naomi, a strong swimmer, swam out into the river, and her friend Louise was kind of on an inner tube nearby.
Oh, she gone.
So
If she were to get on it now, she's gone.
well, I mean, this feels like the scene from a horror movie, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is where Jason comes up out of the water, like through the inner tube. You see a knife just shoot through her head. Like, yep.
So, at some point, while she was just about 15 yards or so offshore, Louise was pulled underwater, but soon surfaced, gasping for air. She said something was pulling her under just before disappearing again. After several attempts, she managed to free herself. Once back on the riverbank, her wounds from the attack were obvious. Her leg was scratched from her knee to ankle and was covered with a bluish-colored mud. When medical help was summoned, they tried to clean Naomi's leg, but they could not remove the bluish stain on her leg, which reportedly took several days to fade.
That kind of takes away my thought of like a catfish.
Same.
Yeah. So it says, while no one got a good look at what attacked Naomi Johnson, she reported that the creature had a green scaled body, hairy 3-clawed hands. Johnson later claimed that she was visited by the U.S. Air Force officer who warned her not to speak of what she had happened. In fact, she said that what attacked her looked like one of those little green men.
Well, I mean, Evansville's not far from Hopkinsville, so...
Yep. Well, so... a couple things here that I didn't put on the research documentation.
Oh, man, I'm
but
dumb. I'm sitting here going, wait, this has nothing to do with Ohio. No, it's Ohio River, you dummy. I'm sorry.
Welcome back, Brad.
I'm here. I'm like, when we get into Ohio State?
Yeah.
We're in the river still. Okay.
So
I'm with y'all now.
Couple things that I found. One of the debunk methods or theories is that the hairiness of the whatever had grabbed a hold was fishing line.
That's what I was thinking, like a clump of fishing line with hooks on it.
Do you get seaweed in rivers? Can
No.
you?
Well, I mean, there's
other
though.
plants and stuff that grow.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lily pad has a piece that runs all the way down and attaches itself to the bottom of the riverbed. You just see the part floating on top, but there is a plant-like thing that goes all the way down through the water. If you got tangled up in that, I guess it could feel like that.
Yeah, definitely scary and scratch you.
The other thing is the bluish mud that was on her leg is found in underwater cave systems in Kentucky and Indiana.
Okay.
So, but for it to be on her leg, it would have to come from that source, and so something would have had to come out of that underwater cave system carrying that mud on it.
Well, then that
Crocodiles.
feeds into the Kelly Hopkinsville experience. When we talked about the documentary Hellier, you know, that they are traveling through the cave systems all through Kentucky. So yeah. So I do want to call out. I'm going to jump around here a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about the Hopkinsville Goblins, because I know you all did this story back before I joined.
Oh, baby.
But this also took place in 1955.
Interesting.
Okay, so the same.
And
Same hoop-de-doop.
And what's really interesting here is that Hopkinsville is close to, I can't remember the lake system that's down there. Is it? We looked it up the other day.
Rough River?
Is it Rough River? And all that
Yeah.
stuff? So that's
that area, because that's Hardin County.
So that connects through to the Ohio.
Yeah.
So there is actually a tributary that comes out of that lake system and goes over to the Ohio.
Yeah.
So whatever is in the Ohio could have gone, and so on and so forth. I don't know at what month and day it took place for this thing in Hopkinsville, but it stands to reason that it could be related.
It was in August. I remember because they every year they have a festival to celebrate the anniversary of the little green men that quote unquote, lots of air quotes, attacked
it's
their
August.
town.
Yeah. So just for everybody who may not have listened to that episode or who may not be familiar with the story, just a quick overview. It's basically these folks were having a party, and these little green creatures just tormented them. And funny, the article that I found that talked about it said that they refused to get in front of multiple bullets that were shot at them. So
I'm not getting in front of Charlie. I'm not getting in front of the bullets.
When
again.
we took a dive into that, they were even said to have some sort of viscous like armor that deflected them as well.
Yeah.
And
some of them could float and fly.
yeah, that was one of the things that I said. The few bullets that found their mark gave off a metallic ring.
Yeah, which is very interesting.
Yeah, and I'm looking now. Yeah, August. It's the same month. How crazy is that?
All right, so now let me jump up to the Loveland Frog.
Hold on. Let me say this real quick. I'm reading something here on another website about the clawed beast, and it says, this is nuts, it's the exact same day.
What?
August
No way.
21st, 1955, that both of these events took place.
Wow.
The Kelly Hopkinsville Goblins, and as well as this
So
clawed beast
we're
of
onto
the
something.
Ohio. Yeah,
We're
and
onto
they're
something.
not far from each other.
Well,
It's
so-
not a far...
So let me introduce you to the Loveland Frog that also happened in 1955.
I'm sitting here looking at that number. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
So this is actually in Ohio. So here you go. Now we're in Ohio.
This is the episode I came for. Here we go.
So a 1955 sighting of reptilian creatures.
Interesting.
The possibility of a secret race of lizard men inhabiting Ohio's rivers.
You're welcome.
Was that
That's my lizard
that was
man.
the lizard man speaking?
Yep.
I didn't realize we were going to have him on the show today.
I'm actually offended because actual lizard men speak like this. Hello, I am a lizard man.
Well,
They're people
I
too.
would say that that's exactly what a
no.
lizard frogman would sound like. I
Josh,
happened to
have you
babysit
been
one when I
introduced
was
to this
12
character
years
yet?
old. I had
goodness.
one when I was 12 years old. I babysat the frogman.
Most times we just turn off his microphone and it
He
just
said he
goes
was
away.
with the U.S. Navy.
We can probably just open the front door at this point.
All right, so back to it. The secret race of lizard men inhabiting Ohio rivers. The story of the Loveland Frog starts maybe with the 1955 sighting, which occurred when a traveling businessman, probably selling vacuum cleaners, passing through Loveland late at night saw 3 frog-faced creatures under a bridge. One of the frogs was holding a rod that seemed to shoot sparks. It's his boomstick.
My boomstick.
The Loveland Frog blipped back on the paranormal radar in 1972 when a police officer reportedly encountered a 3 to 4 foot creature on the road. He shone his headlights to get a better look, and the frog-faced, leathery-skinned lizard thing stared back
Hulkamania.
before scurrying off. They did try to shoot it. I don't know why.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what it is. Shoot it.
Yeah. Yet another police officer saw the creature and they attempted to put a kibosh on it by claiming that it was probably just someone's pet lizard. Now, I don't
A
know.
4-foot pet
Yeah.
lizard
Yeah.
walking bilaterally. Okay.
I
I mean,
like,
even if you have a Gia monster as your pet lizard,
well, I mean, like a
They're not just
Komodo
shredding.
dragon,
Yeah.
like that. But they hate water. Like they're not gonna get in there.
well,
like
and I have seen a Komodo dragon will get up on its hind legs, but
Yeah.
only when it's agitated. It's not gonna just walk around on its hind legs. So yeah, I mean that doesn't seem
I
plausible.
don't know, but it's pretty crazy. This happened the same year. I mean, this is a triple creature feature happening.
I would love to
So-
see a map of like where these 3 incidents happened and see
Yeah.
if there's like a line or a cave system
So
that might attach these.
I
Yes.
did look up to where the Loveland Frog took place,
Mm-hmm.
and it's close to the Ohio River,
Okay.
and then but it's all downstream. So you go from there, and it goes down to Evansville, and it's come down into Kentucky, and so it's all just kind
So
of
that's Loveland, Ohio, correct?
correct.
Okay, that's what
So where does Hopkinsville? Is it on the river as well? I feel like it's
No.
closer
it's,
to
it's,
Tennessee.
it's
It's-
close. I mean, it's
it's-
not far.
It's more centered to the state, but
Okay.
but it is close to that lake system, like Rough River, and
So
all
something could attach to it.
Because when I believe we covered the county next to Kelly,
Union?
and so we talked about Union County, and so
Mhm.
we had talked about that.
Yeah, whatever that lake system is down there that's next to Hopkinsville. I want to say Rough River, but
It is Rough River because
Okay.
that's the one we looked it up.
And then,
So-
but it has like I said, it has a tributary that goes off and hits
Mm.
the Ohio. So again, something coming downstream on the Ohio could have snaked into that and gotten into the tributary and into the lake system and hooked up with his buddies and then go terrorize people. I don't know.
That works.
Grabbed a couple brewskis.
Yeah,
That's what I like to do.
BEERRUN, beer run. So, yeah, that's the extent of what I have for the things that happened in 1955. But there have been some other similar type sightings of I guess what you would call cryptids that fit portions of it fit the description, of what the clawed monster, the clawed beast, of the Ohio.
Right. So similar but different.
Similar but different. So let me talk real quick about the Dover Demon. So in 1977, 3 teenagers reported seeing a bizarre creature. What they first thought to be a dog or a cat turned out to be something much weirder. A hairless, peach-colored creature with a watermelon-shaped head, lidless eyes like orange marbles, and disproportionately long appendages for its 4-foot frame. In the days after, several other unrelated witnesses came forward with similar accounts of a creature clinging to rocks. Premier cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman, was one of the first investigators on the scene, and it is credited with the name of the creature, the Dover Demon. Other observers have pointed out that the similarity between the beast and the Cree tribe legend of the water-loving... Stephanie, go for it.
Manigishi.
There you go. So, the Manigishi are a race of trickster people in Cree folklore.
Not to be confused with Marvel's Cree.
Yeah, that's right. We had that discussion. They are described as semi-humanoid.
So what exactly is semi-humanoid? I mean, I know our friend Paul is semi-humanoid, but...
I would say probably bipedal, you know the word I'm looking for.
So
and has some human
looking
features, but
so pretty much any classic Star Trek alien.
yeah,
right.
I feel like I just got done reading through the Enderverse, and I feel like there's some kind of humanoid in every type of like alien species.
Well, it's basically, I think probably bipedal, 2 feet, 2 arms, 2 legs.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
Hair, no hair.
Yeah, so it may be that humanoid is just maybe the shape. So semi-humanoid has the shape of a humanoid, but then,
maybe like a third arm.
Yeah, or some other distinguishing feature that makes them different, like horns all over their head. Or
ooh, that sounds cool.
So yeah,
I think I made a creative wrestler
like Darth
that
Maul.
Yeah, Darth Maul might be considered semi-humanoid. Yeah,
with horns all over his head.
So the this next word, this was written in the article, although I tried to look up what the definition of it is, and I couldn't find it in any dictionary. So if anybody knows what this actually is supposed to say, but being a sex dactylus.
Well, dactyl is toes, and sex is 6. So six-toed.
Okay. Makes sense now. Humans with very thin and lanky arms and legs and big heads minus a nose. Basically the way it's described.
Interesting.
So it could, dactyl can also be appendage. So, that could also refer to any appendage. I mean, because they mentioned the nose,
yep,
things like that.
So, like,
technically,
6 noses.
Men are sex dactylus.
So is the
don't even respond.
is
believe it what it is.
So this might be Voldemort, right? Because he doesn't have a nose.
That's true. Yeah.
Or the Men in Black.
Yep.
So according to one of the Cree schema of the mythology, there are 2 humanoid races, one being the familiar human species, and the other being the little people, the Manigishi.
So once again, there's 2 ties to things we've talked about before. We've talked about the little people of Kelly Hopkinsville, the goblins. They're little, as well as the Native American little people that we lightly touched on during the Native American creatures episode.
Right, and there's actually some other stuff that I found. So when I start looking into these things, what I started to realize is that if there's a sighting like this that happened in, let's say, modern times within the last 100 years, and it was documented, likely it has a basis in some other folklore of the area.
Right.
Yeah.
And so anytime I look at any type of a cryptid report like this, I automatically go now and look and see, okay, what are there any related Native American folklore or anything, legends that meet that fit parts of the description, because then that establishes a basis of comparison as well as historical accounts.
Well, and what's sad is because of like the Trail of Tears and things like that, a lot of that lore is lost. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
So you've got this thing that kind of fits the bill a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have the hairy skin, but again, that could have legitimately been the fishing twine that was on the bottom of the river or whatever, but misunderstood as being part of the beast that was attacking, right? So it could have been there was the beast and fishing twine on the bottom of the river, and she just misunderstood as saying the beast had coarse hair.
Right. Yeah, because I mean this fits very closely. The clawed beast fits very closely to the Hopkinsville Goblins. Like, way too much. As well as the Loveland Frog. Like, they're all so similar, and I'm even looking at pictures, and they're very similar to the Kentucky Goblins.
Their depictions.
Pictures, yeah. They're the bigger ears, you know, like that almost look like a helmet almost. It's really interesting.
So now let's talk a little bit about, again, I'm trying to look at creatures or legends that are along the same kind of geographical scope of what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
So let's jump a little bit at the Lizard Man of Scape or Swamp.
Did you wrestle him, Brad?
Yeah, I still have the title.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I made him tap out to a spinning toe hold.
Yep.
I think it also might have been the one of the villains in She-Ra, didn't he?
Yes, that does add. He's the one that had the suction
The
cups
suction
on
cup
the toy.
hands. Yeah. He was
Merman.
Merman.
It was He-Man, but he was also on She-Ra.
right.
But yeah, that was Merman. You're welcome.
Yep. Thank you. So in 1988, a teenager, which I'm sure just discounts everything that is going to fall.
Well, yeah.
Christopher Davis reported a fantastic sight in Lee County, South Carolina. After repairing a flat tire.
Wait a minute. A teenager repaired a flat tire?
In 1988, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Davis heard a loud thump and turned around. Two red eyes caught his gaze, and a creature ran right toward him.
Sounds like Mothman to me.
Yeah, well, it's close to the same area, too, as South Carolina.
Yeah.
So police later found a 14-inch long, three-toed footprint at Scape or Swamp, and reports of a giant lizard man stalking the area began to circulate. Though some claim hoax, subsequent sightings have occurred along with reports of livestock mutilation. And until this unfortunate death in 2009, Davis stuck to his story.
If he was a teen in 88,
that's not...
He's a young
yeah.
dude. But yeah, so he got attacked and... Whew.
Well, in all that time, stuck with his story. So
the question is, when reports come out after the first report, it makes you wonder two things. Either A, everybody's just trying to cash in, right? Not necessarily make money, but just 15 minutes of fame. Or they feel more confident to say,
right.
Hey, holy crap, this happened to me.
It's somebody broke the ice.
Right, but no matter what, skeptics are always going to say cash in.
Right.
Always.
Everybody is always going to be assumed to be out to get something.
Yep.
So,
yep.
And it probably doesn't help that there are some people who write a book or try to sell their rights to make a movie, or so if 15 people have an account that they talk about, and one person tries to sell the rights to make a movie, then in most people's eyes, that automatically discounts the other 14's opinion or stories.
And I'm sorry. I'm like, guess what? If some crazy stuff happened to me, I'm going to try to make some money off of it too. Because why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is America.
Sell them rights.
All the time, boomers are like, yeah, make that money until they're trying to make money off of ghosts.
Okay, boomer.
I'm an Xer, okay?
Yeah. I'm even thinking that
I said okay, boomer. My phone just wanted to know what I wanted.
Yeah, what you need, buddy?
It is an older device.
You're not going to get it from me. You got to go work for it yourself, but what do you need?
So the other generation that makes up Gen X people and millennials, I can't think what it's called.
The Gen Y? You talking about the...
No. Zennial. That's what
the Zennial.
I'm just Brad. I'm just Brad. I'm just kind of here. I've been working hard since 15. That's what I'm doing.
I've been working hard since 15.
It's true.
I'm 48 now.
Nah,
all right. So let's...
Josh is like, enough of this. Let's get back to my stuff.
Draw it back in here, okay?
Water Panthro.
So the water panther or the true tiger. This is also...
This interested me.
This is also a Native American legend, folklore. So... The water panther or water lynx is a powerful mythological creature something like a cross between a cougar and a dragon.
I love
Dude,
it. Want it,
Napoleon
need
Dynamite is freaking out right now.
it. I need a tattoo of it. Show me designs.
So I'm thinking like
I'm sure there's a velvet painting somewhere of it.
thinking
I need
like the back end of a tiger, and then as you get to like the mid torso section, it starts to transition from fur to scales.
Oh,
Beautiful.
so it's
But
it's
it's-
transitioning right
but
now?
it's like not like a clean cut. It's like ragged.
I accept it and will love it.
And then it transitions into the front end of a dragon.
See, and the only reason it's so angry is because nobody's giving it the love it deserves. Come here, Water Panther. I'll give you the love.
Exactly.
So-
AKA True Tiger.
The true tiger.
So the water panther is a dangerous monster that lives in deep water and causes men and women to drown.
Only
a cat
misunderstood,
wanting to
not
be in
dangerous.
water. Get out of here.
Come on,
That's the
Josh.
dragon part.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
he drags the poor cat part in. Cat part's flailing.
Or maybe just the dragon part's in the water and the cat part has to stay up on the shore.
Just stays up.
He just walks around the edge of the shore.
So
Is
now,
that a cat butt?
yeah, now I imagine it's more like Cat Dog, the old Nickelodeon cartoon. Like it's meats in the middle, but it's like two heads. One's
Right.
a dragon head. One is
a cat.
the cat.
A cat.
I know I had a few drinks, man, but I swear there was a dang cat butt floating down the high river.
That's how it, man. It was breathing through its hole.
His butthole?
Yeah.
So the legends of some tribes describe the water panther as the size of a real lynx or a mountain lion, which is a pretty good sized animal, while in others the beast is enormous. Water panther has a very long, prehensile tail, which is often said to be made of copper.
Convenient.
Ooh, nice.
Details of the
Which
monster.
means that if it's a water creature, it's green by now. Like the tail
Right.
is green by now.
Well, actually, probably someone has cut it off when it's sleeping and sold it for scrap.
That's what I was about to say. I was
Yep.
hoping you were going the scrap route because I had my copper stolen one time. So
My brother had his stolen
Yep.
one time,
it's a
too.
weird thing that happens.
Yep. So details of the monster vary from community to community, but in many stories, water panthers are described as furry with either horns or deer antlers and a sharp, saw-toothed back.
That's pretty cool.
Interesting. Very, very cool. Just real quick, I wanted to say I did look up the distance between everything, that the first three we were talking about. So Loveland is east of Cincinnati. I would call it a suburb
Okay.
of Cincinnati, northeast. So that one's pretty far away. Kelly, it's weird because Kelly, Kentucky, and Evansville are almost directly, like Kelly is 73 miles
Due
perfectly south.
Yeah.
Like,
as the crow flies.
yeah, if the crow flew, it'd be perfectly straight. It's crazy. Like even the highway that it's on is for the most part pretty straight. So pretty interesting. If there's a cave system there,
Oh, there's definitely one there.
Oh,
for
that's
sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm wondering also. I wonder if anybody has ever laid out a geographical map of cave system over top of the topographical map of the ley lines.
I'm sure you could find
I don't
it.
know about ley lines, but the people in the documentary Hellier absolutely did. They pulled out the geographical cave system map of Kentucky and laid it on top of like points of things that have happened in
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Aren't we
and
pretty much like a hollow donut?
pretty much, yeah. Well, yeah.
Well,
I'm
and-
trying to think of like an ant farm is more
yeah.
what it's like, but yeah.
Well, and Kentucky actually sits on one of the largest fault lines in the North American.
Yeah, we're gonna die.
continent.
Yeah, thank God it doesn't go off very often. That one
Yeah.
in Missouri tends to more. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you that it's, the first two are pretty close, and those happen the same day. I mean,
Yeah, it's just
you could travel a water system. I mean,
Right.
anything or
get out of the water and walk.
yeah,
You
who
know,
knows?
A big herd of angry green
Little
beasts.
men got stuck in some fishing line,
Yeah.
man.
It's a rough Sunday.
That was them talking.
Mine's very Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah. It actually sounds like
Zoidberg.
what a frog.
Zoidberg.
All right. So last up on the list, and this one is actually really neat as well as kind of fitting. So this is the legend of the Qualupalak.
Yeah, I would say Kalupalak.
Kalupalak. This comes from the Inuit people, which is northern, up in Alaska and stuff. But stands to reason that if they exist here, they might exist elsewhere. So, unlike other mythological or mythical mermaids, there is nothing attractive about the Qualupalak. Yeah.
Kalopula.
Kalopala.
Dang it, I had it right the first time. Kalopalik.
Kalopalik. It sounds like you're allergic to cauliflower.
Michael Palin.
Or a fear of cauliflower.
Maybe, yep. So they are described as aquatic humanoids with scaly, bumpy skin.
It's more like manatees. Right?
They don't really have scaly skin, but yeah, that's the sea cow. They are often depicted as having fins coming out of their heads, backs, and torsos. Now, this description right here, their hands, though webbed, are clawed and made for the hunt. The Qualipalak are also rumored to smell like sulfur and wear eider duck clothing. So this little section here where we talk about the description, this sounds to me a lot like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Well, a lot of these have actually, and in fact, some of the websites that I'm looking at have a picture of the creature from the Black Lagoon as a reference point.
Yep.
So.
Well, and one of the original kind of theme for the show, the Clawed Beast of the Howl, one of the kind of discounts of her story was that the movie The Creature from the Black Lagoon had just come out. And so they say that really she just like encountered a catfish, and because of just seeing that movie, she called it something else. But that's why I pulled together all these other related things, and not all of this stuff can be attributed back to the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Right.
So the most hauntingly is that they carry an amutik. Amutiks are commonly worn by Inuit women to secure their babies in their backs. They carry amutiks so they can catch small Inuit children.
It's interesting that this one wears clothes. And so if it's not an alien, it almost makes me think of Wendigo or Weshuge, where they evolved, into that.
Right. So this says that the Inuit parents warn their children frequently about the dreadful Qualipaks. One of the warning signs is they are near the shore and hear a humming noise. The humming is a warning that the Qualipaks is near. The humming is meant to entice curious children to come closer to the edge of the shore so the Qualipak can steal the child away. However, the threat does not vanish if you're away from the shore. Sometimes the Qualipak will knock under the ice.
Oh, no.
Check, please.
That would creep me out more than knocking on a wall next to me. Like, if I'm first of all, I'm fat. So if I'm stepping out on my ice, I'm already nervous because of global warming. But secondly, if I hear...
Yeah.
Nope. I'm gone.
Well, and it says, it's to draw them to the weak part of the ice so they can steal them. So what do they do with the stolen children? They don't eat them.
No?
Nope. They put them under a sleeping spell, and they feed on the young innocent energy to remain immortal.
So they're psychic vampires. So it's like Dark Crystal, where they're like just...
It's my tribe. My tribe is in Alaska. I knew it.
Yeah. Oh.
So something else that I read about these, and I didn't include it in my research documentation, but they like
research documentation. I love your vocabulary.
Thank you. They like to basically hide in the spaces between rocks and rivers.
Space between.
And when you're trying to walk maybe down a riverbed or along these rocks, they'll reach out and trip you.
No, that's how you blow a knee out.
Yep, that's my tribe.
How you blow a knee
That
out.
is my tribe. We just be like, hey kid, hey, you wanna see a Pokemon? Come here.
That just is. It's the voice that makes it very creepy.
Nice. Thank you.
Do you have a van with no windows?
I like to call it a mobile home.
Mobile home. So it's just a waterbed and a
There's
disco
also
ball.
a kitchen. I also have a kitchen, and I have a satellite TV.
Satellite TV with my satellite phone.
We get 3 channels.
He's got the old style satellite, but there's like a boomerang on the back of it.
Yeah.
All 3 channels are Fox News.
Oh man.
So yeah, so that basically wraps up the whole Clawed Beast of the Ohio. Some of the also related stories and folklore of the Clawed Beast, and so yeah, next time you decide you might want to swim in the Ohio, number one, never swim in the Ohio.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah. But there are people who do, and so just be careful.
Yeah, be careful out there. Thanks, Josh, for bringing that to us. The Clawed Beast of the Ohio. We had the Dover Demon. We had the Lizard Man.
Panther.
The Lizard Man of Scape-Ore Swamp. The Loveland Frog. The Hopkinsville Goblins. The Water Panther, a.k.a. True Tiger. And the Qualupalik. check those out online. You can Google that for more information and
Yep.
see what you find. If anybody else has any stories from their county, from their city, or from their family, or your own, maybe you encountered some sort of aquatic creature, or even a non-aquatic creature, some sort of cryptid that you can't explain. We'd love to hear about it, even if it's 2 sentences where you're like, hey, I was out back of my house, I was hunting, and I saw something green, and it had an afro, and it ran by. That's fine. Tell me. We want to know. We collect these stories.
We'll research it. We'll see what else we can find.
We collect afros.
We do collect afros, especially Afro samurais. But yeah, so we want those stories. Like, send those to us. We collect them. We can put them together. We can share them with other people. We can also research and see what's going on around your neck of the woods and try to find some history of what's happened there, because we are very interested in things that happen, especially, of course, here in Kentucky and southern Indiana, but as well as the United States, Canada, and heck, the rest of the world.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead and send those in to fearscapepodcast@gmail.com. You can send those stories into us or hit us up on our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Send us those stories. Whatever way you want to do it, we want them. So, but speaking of listener stories, Josh, you actually brought one in this week from someone you know.
Yep, this is for my boss, Kelly. This is actually her mother's story, but she was telling me about it.
All right, well, let's take a listen to this week's listener story from, what was her name again?
Kelly.
When I was young, we lived in a furnished apartment in a converted house. The person who lived in the apartment before us had died in the main bedroom. Her son had left all the furniture and rented out the apartment. My mom has a lot of stories that happened over the course of a year, and this is just one of them. My brother was still a baby and was sleeping in his crib in the other room. My mom and dad were sleeping when all of a sudden a voice said,
Your son's dying.
My mom woke up, as did my dad. My mom asked my dad if he heard, and he said yes. He got up to check on my brother. My brother was choking to death and had already turned blue. My dad quickly acted to clear his throat, and my brother lived. To this day, my mom still remembers when his guardian angel intervened.
Nope. Don't want somebody telling me my kid's gonna die.
Well, I mean, I don't know how.
They
I
saved
mean, I guess
you.
I do, yeah. I mean, I guess I do because I want to be able to save it, which is the kind of the benefit to this
Right.
story. But
I mean, I guess in that case, then we're talking about an intelligent haunt, right?
Yeah.
Because they witnessed what was going on.
I mean, it would be very coincidental if a similar situation happened 100 years ago and an echo happened to happen at the exact
Right.
same time. But
so
You never know.
so something else and this is not really necessarily something worth a listener story, but just she was telling when I asked her if I could read this on the air. She said, "Oh yeah, and I've got one time she was my mom was going into the other room, and it was raining outside, and she opened a window for it to cool down
because she farted.
and
True.
and wet footprints went across the floor."
Oh no! So she got one of them Loveland frogs coming in there.
And as it went across, it knocked all the pictures on the wall off.
Kelly, if you're listening, that's a Qualupalic, and you want to get out of there right now. If you have any small children, don't
Bless
let them
the
get near the
home.
sack, okay?
So hopefully I'm going to get a lot of these stories from her because that'll be really
Yeah,
good.
man, I love. We will take multiple stories. I mean, I still have a few stories from my sister that I haven't shared yet that I've been kind of hanging on to. But I want to get to Brad while we still have a few minutes.
Yay.
Thanks for coming on, man.
This is
been
fun.
It's been great. But you've got some stuff going on.
Yeah, so my wife and I, me and my wife, we have a YouTube channel now.
So angry.
Yeah,
Caitlin, I hope you're listening.
I feel like I should maybe call someone.
I was listening to something the other day, and it was like, for some reason, when you always talk about your wife in a sentence, it sounds aggressive. You're like, me and my wife. It just sounds aggressive for some reason.
I prefer my wife and I.
But we have started a YouTube channel called We What?
We what?
We What?
How do you spell that?
WE space WHAT with some question marks, exclamation points. But right now you can't find it that way because we have to hit 100 subscribers before we can create
Yeah.
a custom URL.
Yeah.
So for now, if you want to find our channel, just search my name, Bradley McQueary, BRADLEY, and my last name is McQueary.
We'll also share that on
Please
the
do.
FearScape page, so be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, so what's that all about? We what? Because that sounds like we are what? What are we?
So that's kind of the concept behind the channel. Is originally we were just gonna keep trying like random snacks from around the world, but then it evolved to, well, I mean, it's still been pretty much strictly food based so far. It's the easiest thing to get a hold of, and as a starting channel, our budget's pretty low.
Guy.
Well, I don't know if that'll make it past the guidelines, but we can try.
Dude, you said we're all immune to it now.
Oh yeah, I guess we can test that next episode on We What. We try LSD with cookies.
Do you mean is that limited slip differential? I'm sorry,
nerd.
But I lost my train. Thanks, Josh. So we are not limited to that. We're also have a lot of stuff in the pipeline right now. I have a karate teacher that I used to help out, who's going to let us come in and try karate with his school and stuff like that.
It's just trying different things.
Trying different things.
Almost like a
much,
bucket list type show.
Yeah, we're going to try it for you, and then you can decide if you want to try it
I
yourself.
really liked the most recent episode with your...
Goddaughter?
Yeah, I was like, how do you pronounce... Well, I don't know how that
Kins,
goes.
getting sour with Kins.
Yeah, again, that was pretty funny. The screen cap was the best part. Not to say that the video itself wasn't hilarious, but I was like, I'm watching this.
Yeah. Yeah. What's great about that video is this was Kinsey's idea. She's like, I want to do a video with you guys because she watches all of our stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, what kind of stuff do you want to do? She's like, I want to do sour. The more sour, the better. I'm like, okay, I'm going to run to the store and get this stuff. Remember, you asked for this. So I come back with the stuff, and like where she's like looking at it, she's like, okay, this seems fun. The second the camera starts rolling, she goes into like a movie diva. And she's like, I don't want to. I'm like, girl, this was your idea. I don't want to. I prefer spicy over sour. What are you doing? So hopefully the show does not get flagged because we had an 8-year-old going, I don't want to do this, and then us saying you have to.
No,
so
you'll
hopefully
be fine.
it don't happen.
And what about you guys becoming Hasselhoff famous and Germans loving you guys?
Yeah, apparently we're big in Germany. Our biggest video right now is it's about to hit 2,000 views, which is great for a channel that only has 43 subscribers. So, hey, if you're listening out there, go subscribe, because once we hit 100, we'll actually be able to do some cooler stuff.
I'll get all my emails registered.
Germany loves us. It's weird.
I would say that's my people, but apparently I'm English and Swedish. So.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned. We just got another box in, and I think it's going to be... it's going to be getting pretty hot down under.
All right. Well, make sure to check out Look up Bradley McQueary on YouTube.com to find that channel, or just click the link that we're going to share next week.
Yep.
Other than that, we got to get out of here because that's our time and that's how it goes.
Can I do my catchphrase?
Yeah.
Oh, my God,
We're going to have you and wrap it up. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in to 100.9 FM WCHQ, as well as the DNN, which you can find at destinationcomics.com/DNN. And, but yeah, we got to get out of here. We got a really cool episode next week. We'll have another guest. That's next week, correct? So we got another guest that's going to be really cool. We got an author coming on because we're cool like that.
Yep.
But pay attention for that. And on that, let's see, it's after Thanksgiving, so I hope you guys didn't get too hurt eating. So, but on that, I got to get out here. My name is Stefan, and I will catch you on the flip side.
This is Josh. The truth is out there.
This is Brad. Hold those blankets extra tight.
Good night, folks. And we're going to end with the creepy catch-up music.
No!
Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Y'all, it's creepy.